So in the previous class, if you remember, we started with disqualifications. We covered 4 disqualifications. In the 4th disqualification, there are 3 sub disqualifications and that are also covered. By the way, one fundamental point I didn't ask you before I start disqualification. Disqualifications are they for chartered accountants but are not eligible to become auditor, or disqualifications is about other than chartered accountants, like the following professions are not eligible for becoming appointed as an auditor? Is this second one, is it the purpose why disqualification prescribed, or disqualification is prescribed for what reason? No, the following people are all chartered accountants but still they are not eligible for appointment as an auditor. Which one? Please reply me in the chat box once you reply, then I'll proceed immediately the next topic. Yeah, very good. Yes, Priyanka, option 1. Yes, it is option 1. Yeah, the disqualifications are applicable for those who are chartered accountants but are still not eligible for appointment as an auditor. I'll tell you first of all why Companies Act has prescribed disqualification. Why means just to make sure the chartered accountant whom we are going to appoint is an independent auditor, both in terms of appearance and in terms of mind. To protect this, to make sure the person whoever is conducting the audit, to make sure he is independent, we are prescribing disqualification. We are disqualifying all those chartered accountants who are not independent. Majority of the disqualifications are to protect independence. See, a body corporate is not appointed, employee officer is not appointed, because independence of mind won't be there. Partner of the employee, partner of the officer, employee of the officer, employee of the employee is not permitted. Yes or no? Then we have seen a person who is holding securities in the company. A person who is holding securities in the company or group companies. A person who is holding securities in the company or group companies, he is disqualified. Further, if the relative is holding securities, then disqualification do not apply, provided the maximum amount of face value do not exceed 1 lakh. Next, second one, if the auditor or his partner or his relative, if any of them are indebted to the company for an amount exceeding 5 lakhs, then also disqualification applies. And I told you yesterday very clearly, what do you mean by the term indebtedness? I raised multiple issues. Indebtedness is indebtedness, that's it. Whether auditor got credit in ordinary course of business, whether auditor has taken a loan in ordinary course of business, whether the audit fees has been taken in advance. However, if remuneration of the auditor is taken on progressive basis, we will not consider it as an indebtedness. Further, advance audit expenses, any expenses of an audit you are recovering in advance, you are receiving from the client for the purpose of audit expenses in advance, that is also treated as indebtedness. Suppose you are indebted to the company, but before you were appointed as an auditor, you repaid entire loan to the company. From the date on which you are going to be appointed, from that date you don't have indebtedness, you are still eligible. Indebtedness should not be there from the date of appointment. Before you were appointed, if at all indebtedness you have with the company, it's okay, repay that. Make sure it do not exceed 5 lakhs. Then we have seen another in that the auditor or partner or his relative, if at all any of them or have given guarantee to the company or group companies for more than 1 lakh, also disqualified. Then one more disqualification I want to talk before I proceed further. F disqualification. Disqualification F. A person whose relative is a director, a person means the auditor. If auditor's relative is a director or is in employment of the company as a director or key managerial person, directors and key managerial persons are covered. If your relative is working in that company as a director or key managerial person, if your relative is working as a director or key managerial, you are not eligible to become the auditor of that company. You observe here the series of disqualification. body corporate disqualified, officer or employee disqualified, partner and employee of officer or employee disqualified, auditors relative, if auditors relative is a director or key managerial person, disqualified. So even if your relative is a director or key managerial person, disqualified. And I told you what do you mean by relative definition in the previous class. I gave you definition about what is meant by relative in the previous class, already we covered. So the company staff, officer and employee, they're disqualified. Their partners, their employees are disqualified. Their relatives are also disqualified to become the auditor. Next. So that is disqualification F. Now the next disqualification, another important disqualification E. Now what is the disqualification E is about? A person or a firm who or which has a business relationship with the company or its group companies directly or indirectly. A person or a firm who or which has a business relationship with the company or group companies directly or indirectly, disqualified. A person or a firm which has a business relationship with the company. Again, see, if you have a business relationship with the company, you are continuously you continuously wants discounts or some or the other reason, you can be easily influenced by the company. This in fact called as self-interest threat. This is also called as self-interest threat. I'll come to that concept later. Threats independence concept I kept pending in the nature, objective, scope of audit part 3. I kept pending, if you remember. There I'll come back to that later. Okay, so if the auditor or his firm, if it is having a business relationship with the company, not only the company, its holding company, its subsidiary company, its associate company, its a sister company, I simply call it as group companies shortcut. But you should not write shortcut in exam. You should always give full list of 5 companies. Full list of 5 companies you should give. So if you have a business relationship with the company, holding company, subsidiary company, associate company, sister company, either you are having or your firm is having, disqualified. Sir, what do you mean by the term business relationship? What is meant by business relationship? Business relationship is a very broader term. Business relationship can have 2 components. Business relationship can have 2 components: commercial business relationship, non-commercial business relationship. You may have a business relationship for commercial reasons, or you may have a business relationship for non-commercial reason. Suppose every day you and me are purchasing so many goods and services for our personal consumption. Suppose you need some groceries. You go to nearby your kirana store or supermarket or big bazaar and you go purchase and then come. For what purpose you are purchasing them? You are purchasing them for your self-consumption, not for resale. Suppose a retail kirana store, you know, in your locality or in your home, in your street, okay, where your home is there. That retailer, he will also purchase goods from another wholesaler, but he is purchasing for reselling. Now tell me, that retailer is having a relationship with wholesaler and you and me are having a relationship with retailer. Is these 2 relationships, are they same or are they different? Kindly reply me. Are they same relationships? Yes sir, the relationship between retailer and wholesaler is same, and the relationship between the retailer and the consumer are also same, like retailer, wholesaler. No, yeah, very good, they are different. The relationship that we have with our retailer is non-commercial. The consumer and relationship, that is nothing but B2C is a non-commercial relationship. To make you understand, business to consumer. Suppose business to business, you are purchasing goods from him for the purpose of reselling it, then it's a B2B transaction. That's a commercial. Now, which business relationship is covered? which business relationship is covered in the concept of business relationship? In the concept of business relationship, which is covered? Is it commercial which is covered, or is it non-commercial which is covered, or sir both are covered? Sir, auditor should not have both business as well as non-business relationship, which means auditor should not use company products and services also, sir. It says this disqualification E, nothing but fifth disqualification. What it says? It says if the person or firm who or which means, who means individual, which means firm, has business relationship with the company or the group companies cannot be appointed as an auditor. Agree. Business relationship means, is it a commercial relationship, which means where auditor is having a commercial relationship like wholesaler, distributor, dealer, sub-distributor, retailer, this kind of relationship is prohibited, or auditor should not use products of the company forever. Non-commercial also auditor should not have. It is only commercial. Non-commercial is permitted. So the term business relationship excludes, the term business relationship excludes the following. First one, if auditor is purchasing goods and services of the company, if the auditor is purchasing goods and services of the company at arm's length price, at arm's length price, this cannot be treated as a business relationship. This cannot be treated. Now, by the way, auditor is purchasing goods and services of the company for consumption. Auditor is purchasing for consumption, where auditor is getting services and goods of the company at arm's length price just like any other customer. That relationship cannot be treated as a business relationship. If at all this relationship is prohibited, Hindustan Unilever will never find an auditor in India, because every day we are using one or the other product which is manufactured or marketed by Hindustan Unilever. Only commercial is excluded. Non-commercial, like auditor is purchasing goods and services of the company for personal consumption in ordinary course of business at arm's length price, that is not a business relationship. Now, sir, what is arm's length price? For the sake of convenience, you can assume market price. You can simply assume market price. It's not exactly market price. Arm's length price is different from market price, but you can assume for the time being. It's enough. If you have a clarity of what is market price, that's a market price means what? Transaction happened between two unrelated persons. At what price the transaction happens, that is market price. That itself is arm's length price. How the company sell goods to any other customer at the same price they are selling me, no special treatment, arm's length price. That's it. Second one, another relationship is also not considered as business relationship. Suppose auditor is rendering professional services. Auditor is rendering professional services permitted by ICAI or Companies Act. Any professional services that are eligible for rendering, any professional services that are being provided by the auditor which are not prohibited, which are permitted by ICAI or Companies Act. Suppose, see, obviously, by the way, all of you tell me, me and the client are having audit relationship, right? The relationship between me and client is because of audit. Is this relationship commercial or non-commercial? All of you tell me. I am providing services to the company and receiving remuneration. Is it a commercial transaction or non-commercial transaction? You have to tell me. Think and tell me. Yeah, very good, excellent, everyone. I thought you will in fact tell wrong answer. Not Achitram, it's not non-commercial, it's commercial. It is commercial transaction only. Client and me, I am providing services for money. Only if the client agrees to pay the fee, I'll provide. Simple. It's a purely commercial transaction, purely. I don't have any interest with the client, nothing. It is not my personal purpose also. Is it personal purpose to call it as non-commercial? No. It's out of the profession. So, commercial transaction. Now, when you are providing some professional services which are permitted by ICAI, suppose it is like this. Originally, I am the auditor appointed under Income Tax Act. I am the auditor appointed under Income Tax Act for conducting tax audit under section 44 AB of the income tax. I am appointed as an auditor for this purpose originally. The company appointed me as an auditor for conducting tax audit originally. Yeah, I'm doing tax audit from past 3-4 years. Even in current year also, I'm the tax auditor. But this year, company want to appoint me as an auditor. The company wanted to appoint me as an auditor even under Companies Act. Even under Companies Act, company want to appoint me as an auditor. One of the board of director, no, he opposed. He opposed. The remaining directors, he opposed. Remaining directors, auditor is already providing us tax audit service, which means he is having a business relationship with the company. So we cannot appoint him as an auditor. One of the director opposed like this. What is that? You give a reply. What reply you give? Is the director correct? The director is wrong. The director who opposed the auditor saying that auditor is already having business relationship is wrong. See, I agree, auditor is already having business relationship with the client. But if you look at the business relationship explanation, it excludes one item. Business relationship do not include professional services that are permitted to be rendered. Permitted services are not considered as business relationship. Income tax audit is also statutory audit. Here also auditor is independent. He is all here also external auditor. Companies Act audit is also stat audit. He is also external auditor. He is also independent auditor. When all the elements are same, where is conflict of interest? In tax auditor also I'm an outsider. In tax audit is also a stat audit. There also I should follow standards on auditing. Here also I should follow standards on auditing. So there is no prohibition on tax audit. There is no prohibition on GST audit. I am eligible to provide them. Nothing is prohibited here. This is not prohibited. Sir, by the way, are there any prohibited services? Yes, section 144 speaks about what are prohibited services. Within section 144, income tax audit, GST audit is not covered. Suppose I am providing the company internal audit originally. I am doing internal audit from past 3 years. Company liked my services. They wanted to appoint me as a stat auditor. Now I can't accept because internal audit service is not a permitted service. In fact, it is mentioned under prohibited service. So if I am providing internal audit, I cannot become stat auditor. Whereas income tax audit and GST audit are permitted services. If at all I am already having a business relationship with the client, in the nature of tax audit and GST audit, they are not considered for the purpose of disqualification. Everyone, are you confident? All of you, please let me know. Are you all confident? Understood or not? Thomas, Rajeshwari, Trivikram, Rohit, Priyanka, Ravi, Vamshi. Yes. Yes. So that is about the fifth disqualification, which speaks about business relationship. See, you see, until now, whatever the disqualification that you are seeing, we are disqualifying the auditor because independence is not there. By prescribing all these disqualifications, what are we trying to achieve? We wanted to appoint an auditor who is not having any relationship with the company, who do not have any relationship with the company, who do not have any relationship with the securities. He is neither belonging to shareholder, nor belonging to management, nor belonging to company. He is completely independent in terms of appearance, and obviously his mindset will also be independent. That is a fifth disqualification. And what is the sixth disqualification? Relative of the auditor. If he is a director or key managerial person, disqualified. Yesterday we have seen in the previous class. What is key managerial person? Who is a director? We have seen already in the previous class. Seventh disqualification. EFG. A person who is in full-time employment. Who is in full-time employment elsewhere. A person who is in full-time employment elsewhere, he is also disqualified. Okay, fine. This point, a person who is in full-time employment, yes sir, already 141 subsection 1 qualifications of auditor, it clearly says that only a person who is in practice can be appointed as an auditor. So therefore automatically, if a person who is in employment, he is disqualified. Obviously, as per 141 subsection, a person who is in full-time employment is disqualified, obviously, because if you are having full-time employment, you cannot take COP. If you cannot take COP, you are obviously not eligible to become an auditor. In such a case, why, sir, then again they prescribe disqualification? You are saying the qualification says only COP person is eligible. But disqualification, why they need to prohibit again full-time employment? Already by default, as per 141 subsection 1, full-time employment is already prohibited. No, why again 141 subsection 3 disqualification? Why again 141 subsection 3 disqualification? Why it should? Just a minute, be online. Yes, I hope, is it fine? No, not disturbed. Yeah. So 141 subsection 3, why again prescribes a disqualification regarding employment? See, Companies Act doesn't know. Companies Act doesn't know if a CA is having COP, he should not be in employment. That rule is there in the ICA rules, not in the Companies Act. Companies Act assumes if you are having COP, maybe you are also in employment, you are also having COP. Companies Act doesn't know this rule. Companies Act thinks you are a chartered accountant having COP. Are you in full-time employment? Are you not in employment? How do I know? CA Act says if you are in full-time practice, you cannot be in employment. If you are in employment, you cannot be in practice. CA Act knows that. That's why what Companies Act said, he must be in practice. At the same time, he should not be in employment. Indirectly, CA Act also permits the same combination, right? For that reason. Companies Act doesn't know. Companies Act knows you are a CA, you are having COP. So you may also be in employment, right? That is also possible, right? So that's why Companies Act prescribes like this. All of you, can you please reply me in the chat box until now? Is it clear? Until now. Yes. Yes. So a person who is in full-time employment is disqualified. Next one, next disqualification, a person who is already an auditor, or else a disqualification has been written like this: a person cannot accept more than 20 company audits. More than 20 company audits. A person cannot accept more than 20 company audits. What do you mean by a person cannot accept more than 20 company audits? This is called ceiling limit. This is called ceiling limit. So what do you mean by ceiling limit? See, this is not related to independence protection. This is related to quality of audit protection. Quality of audit. See, audit should be provided by independent person. Yes, just because of a matter of fact is independent doesn't mean he will do excellent quality audit. We should restrict him accepting number of clients. If at all we don't restrict him, he'll be taking number of clients. I'm having 300 company audits. Example, array in a year 365 days, 1 or 2 Saturdays and Sundays, if I take off 300 and 260 hardly, within 260 days, 300 companies balance sheets, P&L books you have to verify and finalize it. How it is possible? If at all we don't restrict, people will be taking more company audits without verifying anything, they'll be signing it. So if you restrict the quantum of work, if you limit the quantum of work, they will get only limited work. When they get the limited work, they verify each and everything. There is a scope for verifying each and everything. Even now, in reality, though it is 20 companies, maybe on paper 20 companies only they'll be doing audit, but off the record they'll be doing more than that. But on paper 20 only. See, suppose I'm having 40 companies and I'll send only 20 balance sheets. But I'll do audit of 40 companies. Remaining 20, I'll go and ask my friend, he will sign because he is not having number of clients. He is not having that many number of clients. He will sign and give me. Just this is what happens in reality. Now I say I want to bring a control on this. Okay, fine. Anyhow, regarding that, you can discuss later. So a person cannot accept more than 20 company audits. Now there is a concept on this. This concept is called as audit ceiling. This concept is called as audit ceiling. So what is audit ceiling? All that now I'm going to explain. So what is audit ceiling? What is the maximum number of ceiling on company audits? The maximum number of ceiling on company audits is 20 companies. Sir, okay, sir, if it is an individual, it is 20 companies. Sir, what if it is a partnership firm? For the entire partnership firm is also 20? No. If the audit firm is a partnership firm, see, by the way, I'm using the word audit firm. I'm using the word audit firm. Audit firm means what, you know? It may be a sole proprietary firm or it may be a partnership firm. Firm means what, you know? Enterprise. Firm means enterprise. Firm means entity. Firm means organization. Firm means establishment. Firm means not partnership firm. Firm means organization. If that firm registered under partnership act, it is partnership firm. If that firm registered under sole proprietor, if it firm has only one owner, not registered anywhere, sole proprietor. If the firm registers under companies act, it's a company. So in case of partnership firm where more than one partner is there, where all of them are chartered accountants having COP, then per partner who is a chartered accountant having COP, then 20 company he can do. Per partner 20 limit will be counted. Sir, what if this person is a partner in this firm as well as partner in another firm, sir? In another firm also is a partner. Now we will get, our firm will get 20 on behalf of this partner and the other firm also will get on behalf of this fellow 20. No, again, you may be a partner in single firm or you may be a partner in 5 to 10 firms. Doesn't matter. On behalf of all the firms, suppose I'm Mr. A, I'm a partner in firm A, firm B, firm C, all three together on behalf of all the three, I'll have 20, not 20, 20, 20 here. Okay. So that is audit ceiling. I told you what is the purpose of audit ceiling. Audit ceiling purpose is to protect the quality of audit. Now, sir, 20 companies is very too rigid, sir. Because, you know, there are some small companies where we don't even spend half a day or one day. Sometimes small companies, private companies, one day if you spend, that's enough, sir. In fact, few of our clients, sir, dormant companies, sir, they're not even operating, nothing. They just look at the balance sheet, sign it, nothing, no work is there. In such a case, 20 is too small number, right? Is there any relaxation for this? Yes. The provision says 20 limit. 20 limit do not include. 20 limit do not include. First one person company. Second one, dormant company, a company which is not operating. Third one, small company which is defined under Companies Act. Fourth one person company, dormant company, small company. And the fourth one is private limited company with paid up capital less than 100 crore. If a private limited company is having a paid up capital less than 100 crore, then also the limit of 20 do not apply. Which means what it means, you know, suppose I am having listed companies right now 10, unlisted public companies I'm having 4, private companies with more than 100 crore paid up capital I'm having already 5, government companies I'm having 1 presently, private companies with paid up capital less than 100, some 5 I have, one person companies I'm doing audit of 10 different companies, small companies I'm doing audit of 10. Total, if you see how many company clients I have, 10 plus 4, 19, 20, 25 plus 20, 45 companies I'm doing the audit. One of the directors says, sir, you are since auditor of 45 companies, you are disqualified, sir, you are guilty of professional misconduct, he is saying. I should make him sit, explain the provision. See, I know I'm doing audit of 45, but out of this, private companies with paid up capital less than 100, 5 will not be counted. OPC of 10 will not be counted. Small company of 10 will not be counted. So how many I'm doing? 20. I did not cross 20. How can I be guilty of professional misconduct? How can I be disqualified? That's it. I hope everyone are clear. Kindly reply me in the chat box, please. That's it. That's it. So that is regarding audit ceiling. Next disqualification. A person an individual or a person who has been convicted by an offense by an offense involving fraud, and a period of 10 years is not elapsed from date of such conviction. A person who has been convicted by an offense, a person has been convicted, was proved guilty of misconduct, was proved as guilty of fraud, and 10 years is not yet over from the date of such conviction. Until 10 years you are disqualified. Suppose on 14th February 2021 a person has been certified, a chartered accountant is certified as a fraud, a chartered accountant is convicted as a fraud by one court. 10 years from that date, you cannot become stat auditor anywhere. You cannot accept the position of auditor in any company. You cannot. Sir, what about internal audit? Sir, can I do internal? Yeah, you can do that. Sir, can I do any other works also? Yes, you can do that. Provided you are not prohibited by Contract Act again. If at all you are prohibited by Contract Act, then you can't do any kind of work, because employment, internal audit, everything is also a contract. So you need to check Contract Act disqualifications also. You have studied in CA foundation or in other laws. Who are the persons incompetent to contract? An insolvent. You have seen all that, an unsound mind, lunatic. So that's why. So you need to check even that also. So, but as per company law, if a person has been convicted as a fraud, then he is disqualified for 10 years. Straight away. That's it. Next. Disqualification J. This is the lengthiest disqualification according to me. Lengthiest disqualification and bit tough also. Not in terms of understanding, but in terms of analyzing it. Okay. Now you see the disqualification J. A person who directly or indirectly, a person means, let us assume the auditor. Okay. By the way, person includes individual, and in case of firm, the firm and its partners. The person means individual, or if it is a partnership firm, the firm and the partners, which means an individual or a partnership firm of chartered accountants, or the partners of that firm who are also chartered accountants having COP. Which means nothing but person means what? Audit firm. If any audit firm directly or indirectly renders any services as specified in section 144 to the company, holding company or subsidiary company. What is this point? The audit firm is there, right? The audit firm is there. Just a minute. The auditor's firm is there. Just a minute, ma. I'll just close and open. Yeah. So audit firm is there. This is providing services directly or indirectly. Directly or indirectly means what? We'll discuss later. They are providing services directly or indirectly. What services? Section 144 services. They are providing section 144 services. To whom? To the company which is looking for auditor, or its holding company, or its subsidiary company. Only 3 companies are covered if you observe. Associate company, sister company are not covered. Sir, is there any reason why they are not covered? Suppose in disqualification 4, if you see company, holding company, subsidiary company, associate company, subsidiary of holding company, 5 companies are covered. Now here only 3 companies are covered. Is there any reason or logic? Nothing. This provision is drafted by one different person, and this provision is drafted by another person. That's it. No specific intention. Fine. So if an audit firm is providing prohibited services to the company or holding company or subsidiary company, then the audit firm is disqualified, they're saying. Which services? If they provide 144 services, what are 144 services? They are called as nothing but prohibited services. Why they are prohibited? Why they are called as prohibited? If you want to become an auditor, you are prohibited to render these. Sir, I don't want to become auditor, sir. Can I render them? You can happily, because you're not auditor, right? Sir, what are the services that are prohibited to be rendered by a chartered accountant who is having COP and want to become the auditor of the company? Which services he should not provide in order to become auditor of the company? Which services he should not provide so that he will not be disqualified? The services are there in the question number 3. You should not provide accounting and bookkeeping. Suppose you are only writing Tata Consultancy Services, entire books of accounts are maintained by you, entire accounting records are maintained by you. And how can you verify them as an auditor? Where is independence of mind? Where is maker and checker concept? Maker checker should be different. You cannot provide internal audit. What is internal audit? I'll explain you later. We have a separate section on that, 138 section on that. There I'll explain you. Design and implementation of financial information system. Company, some SAP software, some bookkeeping, accounting software, company is newly implementing, and you are only the person who is guiding that entire process. You are only implementing, you are only testing the software, you are only suggesting the modifications. Entire financial information system, you are only designing and implementing. If you are involving in that service, you should not become the auditor of the company. Or another prohibited service, actuarial services. Actuarial services are used by insurance companies. Generally, the famous the companies which generally uses actuarial services are insurance companies. There is an institute called Institute of Actuaries of India, like ICI. There is an IAI, Institute of Actuaries of India, where they learn so many advanced techniques. Actuary course is 10 times difficult than CA course. I'm telling you, 10 times difficult than CA course. If you think CA is difficult, actuaries is way tougher than CA course. Completely statistics, mathematics, probabilities, scientific formulas and all they will be using continuously in all the subjects. India is in shortage of actuaries. So many actuaries we are in shortage of. Fine. So Institute of Actuaries of India, there is a institute. If you are a member of that institute, so you are eligible to provide actuarial services. Suppose you are a chartered accountant as well as you are an actuary, and to one company you are providing actuarial services. You want to become the auditor also. You cannot. Next one, investment advisory services. If you are providing any investment advisory services directly or indirectly, you may be directly providing, or through some of your indirect mode you are providing without you identified on face. Like directly, you're hiding somewhere and then you're providing. I'll tell you what is directly, indirectly. There is a clear cut definition which is given. I'll explain you there. So investment advisory services, if you are providing, so companies having so many surplus money, so much of surplus money, you are continuously guiding the company where to invest. Okay, invest in so and so securities, invest in so and so bonds. Okay, come out of it, invest, come out of it. You are continuously providing some investment advisory services to the company, to the same company. You cannot become the auditor. When you are providing investment advisory, you want to maximize the company earnings. Investment advisory, whenever I'm giving investment advice to a client, my objective is to make sure that investment increases, to make sure that investment unfolds into multiple levels. When I am thinking for prosperity of a client, how can I be independent? Investment banking, example, project finance, or another example, underwriting. Investment banking is a different. Suppose company needs 100 crore loan, they approached you because you are a famous chartered accountant. They approached you. Now you are working for the company, you're talking to bankers, you're acting as a mediator, somehow you're arranging money with the company. Now the same company want to appoint you as an auditor. Every time whenever the company needs, you're only providing that financial related services. You cannot be appointed because you are providing banking service to the company, investment banking service. You cannot be appointed as an auditor. outsourced financial services. Some financial services of the company, inside company, some costing related accounts have to be maintained, some budget related records have to be maintained, negotiations related records have to be maintained. Some financial services are there. That services, instead of doing by self in the company, they outsource it to you, and you are providing that financial service. Simultaneously, you cannot be appointed as an auditor. If you are providing any outsourced financial services to the company or its holding or its subsidiary, to any of them, if you provide, you are disqualified. Not only to the company, to any of them, if you provide, you are disqualified. And management services, you are acting as an independent director. Example, you are acting as an independent director in a company. Management service, you are acting as some a representative before income tax office. You cannot provide audit services. That is something management services, management consultancy services, we call it as something that management has to do. Instead of they doing it, they gave it to you and you are doing. You in fact took a role of management in the company. You cannot provide auditorship services. Any other kind of service as may be prescribed. If any other is also prescribed, then that is also disqualified. Okay, fine. Now we are having a clarity. Okay, sir, the audit firm, ours is a firm, maybe sole proprietor or partnership firm. Either me or my partner or our firm, directly or indirectly providing any services which are listed under 144 sections, nothing but prohibited services. If at all we are providing prohibited services to the company, holding company, subsidiary company, we are disqualified. I understood, sir. Now, can you explain what do you mean by directly or indirectly? Directly means it's simple. If I am providing services, suppose I am only providing internal audit services to the company, I cannot become the auditor. Directly means on my name. Now, what do you mean by indirectly? What do you mean by indirectly? So, directly or indirectly refers to rendering of services by a person, either himself, this is direct, or through his relative. I'm not providing, but my relative is providing internal audit service. Since my relative is an internal auditor, I cannot be a stat auditor. My relative is providing, or any other person is providing, but he connected with me. He connected with such person. He is associated with me. Some other person is providing service, but that person is connected to me. That person is associated to me. See, I cannot provide in my name. I cannot provide services through my relative. I cannot provide service through a person who is connected to me, who is associated to me. Sir, what do you mean by connected or associated? What do you mean by connected? Suppose if I have significant influence, means 20% ownership or control more than 50% ownership. If I have significant influence in that, or if I have control in that, or whose name or trademark or brand, my brand only they are using, my trade name only they are using, now that person is treated as connected to me. Example, I'll tell you, live example. Yeah, so live example. There is a big four, we call it as KPMG. Now in KPMG, there is an audit firm which is registered BSR & Co Chartered Accountants. This is an audit firm which is actually associated with KPMG. But BSR & Co Chartered Accountants show themselves of KPMG. Their office board, everywhere KPMG. Only on paper only BSR & Co will be there. But everywhere logo, everything will be with KPMG brand name. Now KPMG is having another one, KPMG LLP. Let us assume KPMG LLP registered in India. It's a limited liability partnership firm registered in India. Now BSR & Co is appointed as an auditor for Infosys Limited. They are the auditors. Now KPMG LLP wanted to provide internal audit services to Infosys. Now, is this permitted? That's the question. Please think and reply me. Just 1 minute, I'll be on hold. Just one. It's okay. Some background issue is coming. It's okay. Fine. No issue. Fine. Now tell me all of you. Here, BSR & Co Chartered Accountants They are providing audit services to Infosys. KPMG is also providing audit services. Now, actually, BSR and Co is using a common name, and KPMG LLP is also using the same brand name. Both are belonging to common network. Can they both provide? They both are connected to each other. No, they are associated to each other, indirectly connected by using common name, brand name, trademark. So they are not eligible for appointment as an auditor. They are not eligible. So BSR and Co is disqualified. They are disqualified. They cannot. If KPMG started providing internal audit services to Infosys, BSR and Co Chartered Accountants, which is a network firm in KPMG, which is associated to KPMG, indirectly they are associated to KPMG LLP, they are disqualified. Once again, we'll go back. Directly or indirectly. See, actually, I split it like one A, B, C, second point, like that I split it, but actually the entire definition is same. I'll read cumulatively now the definition you see. Directly or indirectly refers to, directly or indirectly refers to, service refers to rendering of services by any person, either himself or through his relative or any person connected or associated with such person in which such person has significant influence or control, or whose name or trademark or brand name is used by such person, shall be treated as rendering of services directly or indirectly by the auditor. Are you clear? All of you, please reply me now. Have you understood? See, by the way, this is very important definition for MCQ or true or false, because this is a recent amendment. It's recent amendment. It's a very recent amendment. Yes. So directly or indirectly means if I provide directly myself, or if I provide through my relative definition I already gave yesterday, or if I provide through another person who is connected with me. How he is connected with me? Because in that person I am having control, I am having ownership, or I am having significant influence, or he is connected to me in such a way, my name only he is using, my brand name only he is using, my trademark only he is using. In this way also we are connected. That's it. That's it. So that is regarding directly or indirectly. Now, next. So now we have covered all the list of disqualifications. We have finished reading all the disqualifications. So what is the purpose of disqualifying? What is meant by disqualification? The following persons, though they are chartered accountants, though they are having COP, they cannot be appointed as an auditor. Why they cannot be appointed as an auditor? Because of various reasons. Either they are not independent, or quality of audit won't be there. Because of these reasons, these people are disqualified. So if a person is having any of the following disqualifications, he cannot be appointed as an auditor. A body corporate is disqualified. Officer or employee of the company disqualified. Partner of an officer or employee of the company is disqualified. A person whose relative is a director or key managerial person is disqualified. A person who or his relative or his partner is holding security or interest in the company, holding company, subsidiary company, associate company, sister company, is disqualified. However, relative can hold securities up to face value worth of 1 lakh. Next, a person or relative or partner, if they are indebted to the company or group companies in excess of 5 lakhs, disqualified. Indebtedness do not include progressive basis of receiving remuneration. A person or partner or relative, if they have given guarantee or given security in connection with third party to the company, holding company, subsidiary company, associate company, sister company, disqualified. A person or firm which has business relationship with the company, disqualified. Business relationship do not include professional services permitted, or second one, any goods and services purchased by auditor as a customer in ordinary course of business at arm's length price, not a business relationship. And a person who is in full-time employment, disqualified. A person is not permitted to render more than 20 company audits. The limit of 20 shall be counted separately for each partner in case of a partnership firm. And if at all he is a partner in multiple firms, on behalf of all the firms together, only 20 limit shall be counted. And a person who has been convicted by court of an offense involving fraud and a period of 10 years not elapsed. A person or a firm which directly or indirectly providing services either through self or through his relative, or a person is, or through such other person or any other person who is connected or associated with such person, in which such person is having significant influence or control, or whose name or trademark or brand is used by the other person. What are prohibited services? Accounting and bookkeeping, internal audit, financial information system designing and implementation, actuarial services, investment advisory, investment banking, outsourced financial services, management services, any other services. With this, we covered 4 questions indirectly. Now I want to extend little more. I want to, what I covered, what we covered till now, what we covered till now? What we covered till now, we have covered 141 subsection 1, qualifications of an auditor we covered. We have covered 141 subsection 1. We have covered 141 subsection 2. We have covered 141 subsection 3. Just a minute, Amasai, you joined only today, no, for progressive payment. That discussion is there in the yesterday video recording, which I will give you after this class. At that time, you'll understand. Okay, fine. So 141 subsection 1, 141 subsection 2, subsection 3 we covered. Now what 141 subsection says, who can be appointed? Only a CA having COP can be appointed, either individual or partnership firm. If majority of the partners are chartered accountants having COP, they can be appointed. 141 subsection 2, if a partnership firm is appointed as an auditor, only that partner who is having COP can sign the audit report. 141.3, if a person is having any of the disqualification, he shall not be appointed. Fine. Suppose mine is a company, we have appointed you as an auditor. We checked every disqualification. You don't have any disqualification. You are having all the qualifications, no disqualifications. We appointed you for 5 years. But what happened? After we appointed you, you purchased shares of the company. You purchased shares of the company. At the time of appointment, you are not disqualified. But after appointing you, you purchased securities of the company. Now disqualification attracted. What to do? Subsequent disqualification after appointment, 141 subsection 4, subsequent disqualification after appointment. Subsequent disqualification after appointment. Once you're appointed, after appointment, after a valid appointment, what if a subsequent disqualification arises? What auditor has to do if he is disqualified after appointment? Nothing, simple. Vacate from the position. Vacate from the office immediately. Immediate vacation from office. Office means not physical office, chair, table. Okay, office means position. You are the auditor, you are having auditor position in the company. From that position you have to immediately vacate because you are affected with the disqualification. An auditor, a person who has been validly appointed as an auditor of the company but affected with disqualification after that appointment, shall immediately vacate from the office of the auditor. Shall immediately vacate. Now, for immediate vacation, there is an exception. For immediate vacation, there is an exception. See, because you are disqualified, you cannot have eligibility. You don't have any eligibility to continue. So immediately vacate. Fine. But for immediate vacation, there is an exception. Exception means what? It is not exception for vacation. It is exception for immediate vacation. In this case, immediate vacation is not required. We will give you 60 days time limit. We will give you 60 days time limit to rectify that mistake. To 60 days time limit to rectify the disqualification to qualification. To rectify, to come out of the disqualification. See, actually you are disqualified. The moment you are disqualified, you are no more auditor, no more argument. Sir, I will rectify, sir. No more argument. You have to vacate. That's it. No more rectification, nothing. But there is one exception where the company law gives an opportunity for the auditor to rectify that mistake so that he can still continue as an auditor. He need not vacate immediately. That is not immediate vacation. 60 days time given. Suppose what if you have not rectified it within 60 days? 61st day onwards, you are no more auditor. Simple. If at all, generally speaking, if an auditor is affected with disqualification after appointment, post appointment, he shall immediately vacate. That's a general rule. First remember, that's a general rule. Only one exception is given. If the disqualification is because the relative of the auditor, acquired shares for more than 1 lakh face value. If at all the relative of the auditor, their shareholding has acquired or increased to more than 1 lakh face value, relative of the auditor, then 60 days time limit is given, so that please reduce it within 1 lakh. Don't ensure that within 60 days your relative sells the shares and make it within 1 lakh. Otherwise we will disqualify you. But I'm giving you 60 days time. For this mistake alone, we are giving 60 days time. Now you may get a doubt. Sir, why, sir? What's so special about this disqualification? Why they give 60 days time limit? Suppose, sir, I borrowed loan, sir. My relative borrowed loan, sir. He borrowed 7 lakhs loan, sir. You are saying immediately he has to vacate, sir. Why there also 60 days time limit can be given? No. Suppose auditor relative is appointed as a director, sir. You are saying auditor has to immediately vacate. Why 60 days time limit time is not given there to rectify that mistake? Why only for shares that particular time limit is given? See, suppose I am the auditor in XYZ Limited. I am the auditor in XYZ Limited. Mr. A is the auditor in XYZ. Mrs. A means Mr. A's wife. She is having in the company 90,000 rupees worth of face value shares. I am not having. In my name, there are no shares. Since I am not having shares in the company, only my relative is having shares in the company, I am not disqualified. I am not disqualified because relative can hold up to face value of 1 lakh. But now what happened, company declared 1:1 bonus. Now the 90,000 rupees face value of the shares have become double, 1,80,000 rupees worth of face value. Can the company say, sir, we are declaring bonus, sir, except your wife, everybody else we are allotting bonus? No, right? Bonus shall be given uniformly to all the shareholders. You can't give bonus to one segment of shareholders, another segment of shareholders ignoring. No, that is not possible. If you give bonus, give to all. That's it. Likewise, my wife also got. She didn't acquire. She got. So that is not something in my control. How can you disqualify me if the company declared bonus and because of the bonus declaration, the face value exceeds 1 lakh? In this case, it is not fair, no, to disqualify me because I didn't purchase it. Without any my intention, without any my wife's involvement, without her involvement, shares have increased by more than 1 lakh. What mistake she did, what mistake I did to disqualify? Okay, fine, understood. There is no mistake on your end. You didn't acquire it. It happened like that because there is a process like that. So there is no mistake from you. So I'll do one thing. 60 days I'll give you time limit. Rectify. You got bonus. I know you allotted, fine, right? Sell it within 60 days. Make sure your wife's shareholding is less than 1 lakh. Your relative's shareholding is less than 1 lakh. Make sure that. Then you can continue. That is why it has been given. Indebtedness, appointment of relative, everything is in my hand. Everything I can control. But issuing of bonus shares, I can control because I am not the one who can take decisions relating to bonus. Company takes, we just have to follow everybody. That's it. So generally, after appointment, if a disqualification arises, auditor shall immediately vacate from the office. That's the general rule. However, if the disqualification is because of the relative holding shares more than 1 lakh, 60 days time limit is given to rectify. Otherwise, on the 61st day, you shall vacate the office. Remaining all other cases of disqualification arise, vacate it. You may know it or you may not. Sometimes no auditor may not aware of that he is disqualified. Even then, you are disqualified. That's it. You are no more auditor. Now you may get a, sir, what if sir auditor doesn't know that he is disqualified? He continued, gave the audit report, everything is over. Later it was discovered. Nothing can be done. Nothing can be done. Already over. No, if at all he knows it, intentionally he continued. If it is proven, he will be punished by ICI. That is for sure. That's it. Kindly, all of you, please tell me, have you all understood or not? Everyone understood or not? Yes. Very good. Very good. So you see all these points. I'll just read. The following persons are not eligible for appointment as an auditor even though they possess chartered accountancy qualification. A body corporate is not eligible other than LLP, officer or employee, a person who is a partner or who is an employee of an officer or employee of the company, a person who or his relative or his partner is holding any security in the company, subsidiary, holding, associate, subsidiary. Now onwards we can call it as group companies when you're reading, but in exams you should always write full list. Okay. Or a person who is indebted to the company or group companies in excess of 5 lakhs disqualified, has given a guarantee or provided any security on behalf of third person to the company in excess of 1 lakh disqualified. Note, the limit of 1 lakh in case of share capital, okay, shall applies even for companies not having share capital. 1 lakh is regarding like guarantee, all that. Okay, the relative of the auditor may hold security or interest in the company for an amount not exceeding face value of 1 lakh. Also, if the auditor is holding shares in his name, no, this exception do not apply. Suppose company do not have share capital. First point I'll tell you. For company do not have share capital. My relative gave a guarantee for 1 lakh. It's a company limited by guarantee. My relative gave guarantee for 1 lakh. That guarantee, is it a third disqualification guarantee or is it related to share capital related guarantee? Share capital related guarantee. This third guarantee is surety. This guarantee is different. That guarantee is different. Remember. Okay. Next. And if auditor purchases goods on credit from the company of a value exceeding 5 lakhs, he shall be indebted. Therefore, it is disqualified. It is immaterial that the credit was allowed to auditor is same as allowed to customer. It doesn't matter. Indebted more than 5 lakhs disqualified. If auditor recovers fees from company on progressive basis, even though the audit is not completed, it is not treated as indebtedness. Business relationship I covered. Exception. The term business relationship include any transaction entered into commercial except the following. Professional services permitted to be rendered by auditor or the firm under Companies Act or CA Act. Transactions in ordinary course of business at arm's length, like sale of products, services to auditor as a customer. He is purchasing as a customer. That is also permitted. A person who is in full-time employment, disqualified. A person or partner of a firm having more than 20 company audits as on the proposed appointment. We want to appoint him, already is having 20, disqualified. Now on that we have a fourth question. We have a fourth question on that. A chartered accountant in practice cannot hold appointment as an auditor for more than 20 companies at a time. In case of partnership firm, the limit of 20 shall be counted per partner in practice. If a person is acting as a partner in multiple firms, then the limit shall be counted only for one partnership. That too in the name of such partner only, on behalf of all the firms together is 20. That's what. In other words, the limit of 20 shall be counted per person holding COP. Whether he is a proprietor, partner in one firm or multiple firms, doesn't matter. What companies are not counted in ceiling? One person company, dormant company, small company, private company with paid up capital less than 100. In other words, what companies are counted? You please take a list of these companies. You please take a list of this. What companies are counted? Government companies are counted. Public companies are counted. Listed companies are counted. Private companies having more than paid up capital 100 crores are counted. These are the 4 companies which will be counted. Banking companies are counted. Insurance companies are counted. These companies are counted into ceiling limit. That's it. Next. And then I explained you the point, a person who has been convicted by court involving fraud and a period of 10 years is disqualified. Suppose if the conviction is by tribunal, NCLT declared him as a fraud, not court, then 5 years. Regarding that, I will discuss a separate question on that. Subsequent disqualification after appointment. This is what we covered now. Where a person appointed as an auditor of a company incurs, you are appointed as an auditor of a company, now you incur disqualification after the appointment. he shall vacate immediately his office as auditor. And such vacation shall be deemed to be a casual vacation. Sir, auditor vacated. No, what company has to do now? I will discuss later. Note, however, if relative of the auditor is holding shares exceeding face value of 1 lakh after being appointed as an auditor, her auditor's relative shareholding exceeded 1 lakh after he was appointed, then corrective action shall be taken within 60 days. In this case, immediate vacation do not apply as a 60 days time limit is provided. Now relative means they are members of HUF. In case of HUF, all members of HUF are related to each other. In case of normal, not HUF, husband and wife are relative, father, mother, brother, sister, son, son's wife, daughter, daughter's husband. Grandparents, grandchildren are not covered. Yesterday I already explained this point in the previous class. And what are prohibited services? We discussed it. Like if any person is providing any of the above prohibited services, then he cannot be appointed as an auditor of the same company or group companies. If at all the auditor withdraws from above services, from all the above prohibited services, you withdrawn, you came out of the company, now he can be appointed as an auditor after such withdrawal. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, all are based on disqualifications. Now in the next class we are going to solve practical questions. How to present practical questions, how to write answers in the exams, all that we are going to discuss in the next class. Presentation we are going to discuss. I hope everyone are confident. Kindly reply me. Yes. So in the next class we will be discussing